Anansi the spider was known throughout the forest. He was clever and mischievous. Anansi loved to play tricks. All the animals knew to be careful around him. One day Anansi was walking through the forest. It was a night with a full moon. The moonlight made the leaves sparkle. Anansi saw a small, abandoned hut. He decided to go inside. The hut was dark and dusty. Anansi saw a clay pot in the corner. It looked old and ordinary. Anansi was curious, so he picked it up. "Hello?" Anansi said into the pot. "Anybody home?" Of course no one answered. Little did he know this was no ordinary pot. This pot held magic. Anansi turned the pot over in his 8 legs. He tapped it with a claw. It seemed like a normal pot. Anansi was about to put it down. Then, he saw something carved on the bottom. It was a message. It read, "Fill my pot." Anansi read the words out loud. Suddenly the pot began to glow. It was filled with delicious-smelling food. Anansi was astonished. He couldn't believe his eyes. He had never seen anything like it. He took a bite of the food. It was the tastiest thing he had ever eaten. Anansi realized he had found something special. This was a magic pot. He could have all the food he ever wanted. Anansi decided to keep the pot a secret. He ran back to his home. He hid the pot under his bed of leaves. Anansi was excited about the possibilities. He could eat like a king every day. He could impress all the other animals. They would all admire him. Anansi loved being the center of attention. Anansi decided to throw a feast. He invited all the animals in the forest. They came from far and wide. Everyone was curious about Anansi's sudden generosity. Anansi used the magic pot to fill his table with food. There were fruits, vegetables, nuts, and honey. The animals had never seen so much food before. Section 4. Anansi's Grand Feast. The animals feasted until they couldn't eat anymore. They were amazed by Anansi's generosity. "Anansi, you are the best host ever," said the monkey. "This is the most delicious food I've ever tasted," chirped the bird. Anansi smiled, enjoying the praise. He felt proud and powerful. He loved having the magic pot all to himself. He didn't plan on sharing his secret with anyone. After the feast, the animals thanked Anansi for his generosity. They left, feeling happy and satisfied. Anansi watched them go, a sly smile on his face. He went back to his home. He hid the magic pot under his bed of leaves once more. He was pleased with himself, but he couldn't shake off a feeling of unease. He knew he was being selfish. Section 5. Osebo's Wisdom. News of Anansi's feast spread throughout the forest. Osebo the tortoise heard the stories. Osebo was wise and kind. He was respected by all the animals. Osebo thought it was unusual for Anansi to be so generous. He decided to pay Anansi a visit. He wanted to know where all this food came from. Osebo found Anansi at home. Anansi was surprised to see him. "Osebo?" Anansi said nervously. "What brings you here?" Osebo smiled knowingly. "Anansi," Osebo said, "I've heard tales of your grand feast. You've never been so generous before. What's your secret?" Anansi hesitated. He didn't want to reveal his secret. Section 6. Sharing brings joy. Anansi tried to change the subject. Osebo was patient. He knew Anansi was hiding something. He challenged Anansi to a riddle contest. Anansi, confident in his cleverness, agreed. Osebo told Anansi, "I have a riddle for you. What has no mouth but can always be filled, and no voice but can speak wonders?" Anansi thought long and hard. He couldn't figure out the answer. Finally, Anansi gave up. "Tell me, Osebo, what is the answer?" Osebo smiled. "The answer, my friend, is the magic pot." Anansi was shocked. How did Osebo know about the pot? Osebo continued. "Anansi, the magic of the pot is not meant for you alone. It's meant to be shared with everyone." Anansi realized the truth in Osebo's words. Shame washed over him. He had been selfish.